who would win in a street fight between Mike Tyson and his prime and Floyd Mayweather? I think I would really kick Floyd's ass in the street fight. Wouldn't even be no match, but probably if I was his size in the ring, he would outpoint me, yeah.
Mike Tyson has recently called out Floyd Mayweather on Live, hinting at a potential boxing match between the two legends. But we know that Tyson is going to fight Jake Paul in November. Despite being known as the baddest man on the planet, his return to full training remains uncertain. At 58 years old, skepticism surrounds his ability to recover in time to make a comeback in the ring. However, Tyson has been giving warnings to Jake ahead of their bout.
Different date, same fate. I'ma knock out Jake Paul.
The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation remains vigilant regarding the Paul-Tyson bout. According to spokesperson Telemange, the match is still scheduled as a professional event, with Tyson maintaining his professional license. There's also a chance that the fight might be canceled or changed to an exhibition match with altered rules, such as restricting Paul from striking Tyson below the waist because of his condition. Previously set for July 20th, the event drew even more attention after the former heavyweight champion experienced an ulcer flare-up mid-flight. This incident not only raised concerns, but also heightened the spotlight on the bout between the 27-year-old YouTuber-turned-boxer and the former champion, who is 30 years his senior. Jake Paul has swapped opponents from Mike Tyson to former UFC fighter and bare-knuckle boxer Mike Perry, moving their bout to Tampa's Amalie Arena on the same date. Setting aside the call-out drama, Tyson marked his birthday surrounded by loved ones. How's his preparation shaping up for the anticipated Netflix showdown in November? Nakisa Badarian shared updates recently. As the co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, he joined Ariel Helwani on the latest episode of MMA Hour. Helwani inquired about the current condition of Iron Mike. How is he doing now? He asked. Nakisa Badarian responded that Tyson is making remarkable progress, leaving Jake Paul somewhat puzzled. He said, Jake is pissed because he sees Mike in Europe living life doing appearances celebrating his birthday. The co-founder of MVP claims that Paul might have believed that Iron Mike was receiving medical attention and recovering. Nakisa Badarian later checked with Team Tyson, and the update reveals that while the former heavyweight champion isn't currently involved in boxing training, he has started strength and body conditioning exercises. In summary, he is showing encouraging signs of recovery. Ariel Helwani posed one of the most important queries that has been circulating earlier in their talk. Why? He said, when Helwani asked, what do you say to people who say the Tyson fight should not happen, shouldn't have happened before, and shouldn't happen now? Nakisa Badarian responded, suggesting that Mike Tyson's recent health scare was something anyone could experience, emphasizing its commonality. He cited Conor McGregor's situation as another example. Despite a highly anticipated return to the UFC after 3 years, McGregor's fight against Michael Chandler on June 29th was postponed due to a new injury. He believes that because of his age, the battle between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul makes perfect sense. Why? Badarian replied, if Mike were in his early 30s, given Jake's experience, there's no sense to the fact that age is the equalizing factor. Next, he drew a comparison, juxtaposing Mike Tyson's achievements at 27 with those of Jake Paul. He highlighted how Tyson had secured an impressive record of 40 victories and just 1 loss by that age. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is 9-1. Paul has only been fighting for 4 years, but Tyson has 14. He continued, what makes this fight exciting? What makes it real is that there is a chance that either guy can lose. He made sure to emphasize the findings from various polls. When queried about the potential outcome of the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson bout, the majority of fans predicted the former heavyweight champion would topple the problem child. He concluded, if you ask the vast majority of the public, everyone thinks that Mike Tyson is going to knock out Jake Paul. So I think as long as he has a clean bill of health, which he did, and he will 100% will if we move forward with November 15th, which we plan to do then, of course, that fight should happen. The bout has stirred controversy, with concerns raised about the ethical implications given Tyson's age gap and recent health issues. But according to Badarian, the fight is interesting because of the age difference. Badarian stated, anyone can get an ulcer or an injury. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul make sense because of the age, from my perspective. When you look at Mike Tyson at age 27, he was 41. Jake Paul is 27, he's 9-1. Jake Paul's been a professional for 4 years. At that point, Mike Tyson was a professional for 14 years. Badarian underscored the fight's inherent unpredictability, emphasizing the potential for an unexpected outcome. Despite Tyson's seasoned experience and formidable knockout ability being favored by many, Paul's current string of victories demands attention. Moreover, Jake Paul, driven less by the allure of financial gain and fan excitement over a bout with KSI, seems intent on prioritizing a rematch with Tommy Fury, as conveyed by his manager, Nakisa Badarian. Badarian revealed insights into Paul's current focus. While recognizing the allure of a bout against KSI, Badarian underscored Paul's steadfast resolve to resolve his rivalry with Fury. He said, "I don't think that's a focus for Jake. I think there's much bigger fights that he's focused on from his perspective. Don't ask me what those are, but whether it's financially or motivationally, he does want to fight Tommy Fury again at some point to make that right." On the other hand, Mike Perry plans to crush Jake Paul's lofty goals and pave the way for his own. Perry, renowned as the undefeated 5-0 bare-knuckle boxing champion and a former UFC sensation, aims to thwart Paul's ambitions as part of his meticulously crafted three-phase strategy. First, by defeating him, then securing a match with Tyson, and ultimately pursuing a shot at UFC championship glory. On Sean O'Malley's YouTube channel, Perry mentioned that he might take the Mike Tyson fight from Jake, expressing that he believed he deserved it.
Fight from Jake.
That was my next question. That was literally my next question. Yeah, fighting your boy. If you guys are boys at all,
fuck that. Yoel. Yoel's my hermano.
Yep, hermano.
Much love. Out of love of being a martial artist and a fighter, I would fight my brothers for money, you know, because we're gonna feed our families and fucking have a beer after we kick each other's ass. But
Perry further remarked that he wondered if taking the fight would change everything, questioning whether people would still support Jake since they already have Netflix. He suggested that if viewers watched for Jake and then saw him win, they might realize that he was not a Disney kid, but a real person. He described himself as a regular guy who practiced martial arts and now had a big fight ahead. He emphasized that he did not care about all the stipulations and was focused on winning the fight, believing that after a victory, the sky would be the limit for him.
That'd be crazy.
But does that change everything? I mean, if everyone is gonna buy for Jake, I mean, they already have Netflix. If they're gonna watch and they're gonna do it for Jake, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy beats Jake. This guy wasn't a Disney kid, and he's just a real person. Like, I'm a regular guy who did martial arts, and now I got a big fight." And you know, I don't care about all the stipulations, man. I just win this fight, and then, you know, sky's the limit.
Alex Pereira, the current light heavyweight champion and former middleweight champion, is the UFC titleist Perry has in mind. Pereira appears fixated on ascending to the heavyweight division, aiming to secure a historic triple-weight title in UFC history. However, Perry remains undeterred by this ambition. Perry then added that he had been thinking about what would happen after he beat up Jake, considering it a call-out opportunity for himself. He expressed a desire to fight Alex Pereira, questioning who else there was for him to challenge. He noted that Pereira was defeating everyone and stated that he wanted to show his own skills in boxing.
I've been thinking about when I beat up Jake, like that's the call out for me. Like I want to throw hands with Alex Pereira because
Jesus Christ.
Because like who the fuck else is there for me to throw hands with, bro? He's just clocking everybody left and right. I want to show the world, hey, look, like I got skills with the hands department.
Jesus Christ.
Perry hasn't participated in an MMA match since leaving the UFC in 2021 to pursue a career in bare-knuckle boxing with BKFC. Perry, who spent 5 years competing at welterweight in MMA's top league, isn't exactly guaranteed a shot at the 205-pound champion, but he's certainly allowed to dream about it. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather has acknowledged the highly anticipated and contested fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Even though Paul and Mayweather have had a tumultuous relationship and several arguments in the past, Mayweather recognized Paul's financial acumen in backing Tyson. Mayweather expressed during an interview with Treasure Hustle that what Jake was doing was somewhat impressive. He acknowledged that if Jake could continue to earn money and if his matches were arranged in his favor, he couldn't criticize his approach. He concluded by saying that if Jake's matches continued to be advantageous for him, more power to him.
Mike soon in the summer. What do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power to him.
The remarks were perfectly aligned with Money Mayweather's persona, considering his pivotal role in revolutionizing both boxing and its promotion, particularly following his 2017 bout with UFC star Conor McGregor. Mayweather emphasized that in today's digital age, boxers must actively market themselves on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. This also includes participating in matches that might seem unconventional, such as the one between Paul and Tyson. Mayweather expressed in another interview, "The promoter is dying. It's now the responsibility of the fighter to promote himself. That's the new boxing world. Just hustle, man. Just hustle." Mayweather's respect for Paul seems genuine and sincere, acknowledging and valuing his efforts. Ultimately, for many, the source of their earnings is less important than the value of the money itself. The Tyson-Paul bout is set for 8 two-minute rounds, with both fighters wearing 14-ounce gloves. Tyson's most recent ring appearance was in an 8-round exhibition against Roy Jones Jr., a non-scored event held 4 years ago. This event also featured Paul, who gained fame by knocking out NBA star Nate Robinson during the same fight card. Nathan Howarth from the Concussion Legacy Foundation UK has cautioned Iron Mike Tyson about the perils of returning to the boxing ring, emphasizing the potential risks involved. Boxing has an inherent risk of concussion. There's an increased risk of traumatic brain injury we have seen, like bleeds on the brain, Howarth explained to Betway. Howarth then added, "I'm not saying there is any evidence that as an older fighter, Mike would be at risk of that. However, we do know the impacts of subclinical concussions. It's particularly important for someone like Mike Tyson, who has had a long period of time in the sport anyway. Now we know that Floyd is currently involved in a serious feud with Gervonta Davis, and in the world of boxing, there's a singular path to settle disputes: inside the ring." Recently, retired champion Shane Mosley proposed a showdown between Davis and Mayweather, echoing the spectacle of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. This suggestion comes amidst ongoing verbal jabs between the ex-boxer and his protege-turned-promoter. What's behind their heated exchange? Mayweather recently made a sly remark aimed at his former protege, suggesting that today's fighters prefer splurging on luxuries rather than investing wisely. Davis, in a swift response, disclosed Mayweather's predicament in Dubai due to unpaid debts, sparking a heated exchange between the two. During an interview with The Art of Dialogue, Shane Mosley even proposed a showdown to definitively resolve their feud. Mosley's confidence in a prime Floyd Mayweather defeating Davis was clear. Yet when pressed on a hypothetical matchup between Tank and Money today, his certainty seemed to waver, leaving the host's question hanging without a definitive response. So he said, "They should run that. Let's see if they can hold their own. That would be a big one." Davis and Mayweather hint at a potential bout that was once deemed improbable. Mosley's recent proposal has injected fresh enthusiasm into this prospect, elevating its plausibility to new heights. He said, "Then, they could sanction it like Tyson and Jake Paul doing, right? To see if he can hold his own. Let's run it. Do it at 140, 145. Last month, Davis stepped into the ring and secured a knockout victory over Frank Martin. Yet Mayweather has kept busy as well. Despite lacking Davis's talent, John Gotti III faced Mayweather in June last year, demonstrating that Money still has moves in the ring. Whether this matchup will occur depends entirely on the fighter's decisions. However, a recent tweet from Gervonta Davis hints that he believes he could triumph over Mayweather in a fight. During the peak of their feud, Gervonta Davis tweeted, "Now I fuck around and knock Floyd out when I see him, and I'll care about going back to jail," referencing his 90-day stint in Baltimore jail for breaking house arrest rules. Shortly after, Floyd Mayweather took to Instagram to unveil details of his upcoming bout, promising a full announcement later on. Speculation swirled about his opponent, with Davis seeming unlikely. Mayweather has been rumored to be considering various contenders, following a setback in his attempt to rematch his last exhibition opponent, John Gotti III. In a hypothetical scenario where Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis were to face off, their clash could potentially outshine even the spectacle of a Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul bout. Imagining them on the same card, the numbers generated from such an event would be staggering. Just recently, Mike Tyson didn't hesitate when he named which boxer he wanted to face the most from any era. During his illustrious professional career, Tyson faced up against the biggest stars of his era, taking on opponents of all stripes. He engaged in consecutive bouts with Evander Holyfield and found himself in memorable showdowns against renowned fighters such as Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks, and Lennox Lewis. Scheduled to return to boxing against Jake Paul, Tyson is eagerly preparing for his comeback. During a candid interview with Steve Farhood on Showbox, Iron Mike was pressed to choose his ultimate opponent from any era. Without hesitation, he singled out Floyd Mayweather. Farhood chuckled heartily, expressing his admiration for the response, before delving into why a bout with Mayweather held such intriguing possibilities, especially coming from a former world heavyweight champion. Tyson expressed that he would have loved to fight Floyd and wished they were in the same weight class. He acknowledged that they could never fight due to the weight difference, but mentioned that he wouldn't fight Floyd in the same way others had.
If you could have fought any fighter in your life, any weight, any era, who would you have picked that you would have liked to fight the most?
Floyd Mayweather.
I love it. Why?
Huh?
You want to knock him out?
Well, I would love before, and I wish you was my weight.
Mayweather achieved an incredible 50-0 professional record and left the sport undefeated. But Tyson believes he'd have known exactly how to deal with Mayweather. Tyson added, "I would be mean, I would be dirty, because you'd have to do everything to fight him because he's just so good. You can't, it's almost impossible to fight him clean. It's just so hard to beat him." Tyson concluded, "I don't care. It's really hard to beat him. The style he deploys, it's really difficult to beat him in that particular style. I don't care. Love him or hate him, he's a hard man to beat. I would fight a guy like Floyd differently if he was a heavyweight." In a meteoric rise, the youngest ever heavyweight world champion burst onto the scene in 1985, dominating with an impressive 37-fight unbeaten streak before a shocking knockout upset by James "Buster" Douglas. Despite reclaiming the world title once more, he faced consecutive defeats against Evander Holyfield soon after. Mike Tyson made a comeback in 2022, engaging in an exhibition match with Roy Jones Jr., which concluded without a clear winner. However, since experiencing consecutive losses in 2004 and 2005, Tyson has not competed professionally. Having faced opponents like Lennox Lewis, Michael Spinks, Frank Bruno, and Larry Holmes, it's unlikely he'd look back with regrets about missing out on any other boxing rivals. As we just saw, he singled out Floyd Mayweather, a legendary multi-weight champion known for dominating opponents even in lower weight classes. It's precisely his skill set that Iron Mike might have been keen to challenge himself against. However, with Mayweather concluding his career in the welterweight division, any notion of such a matchup remains firmly in the realm of fantasy. In the world of boxing, legends emerge not only through their epic battles and impeccable records, but also through their unwavering character. Consider Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. Each has profoundly shaped the sport. Yet, when a social media post from one of these icons ignites controversy, how will it impact their legacies? Tyson, clad in a tracksuit, emanates a silent yet powerful proclamation. With not a word spoken, he sparks a contentious discussion. Can a single photograph challenge years of unrivaled supremacy? Mayweather, often hailed as TBE, could certainly have a rebuttal to offer. Mike Tyson entered a decades-long discussion on Instagram in a subtle manner. His message? An arresting photo of him wearing a black tracksuit with the words "Tyson" and "the best ever" written in large white letters over the back of the garment. The jacket says it all is the succinct yet profound caption. In the photograph, Tyson stands amidst a corridor enveloped by vibrant red walls, the message emblazoned on his back impossible to overlook as he strides purposefully, seemingly heading towards an exit. This striking image, a fusion of simplicity and boldness, swiftly seized the spotlight of the boxing world and beyond. Tyson's post catapulted into viral fame with nearly 393,999 likes in a flash. His strategic use of a phrase unmistakably linked to Mayweather reignited a long-standing debate with renewed intensity. Mike has never held back when it comes to sharing his thoughts on why he believes Floyd's isn't the best song ever. In a candid episode of his Hot Boxin' podcast, Mike Tyson challenged Floyd Mayweather's self-proclaimed title as the best ever, sparking a heated discussion on the intricacies of boxing legacies. Tyson, known for his straightforward style, shared his views during a lively conversation with rapper and actor Al Cool J. Tyson said that Floyd was a great fighter, but he pointed out that Sugar Ray Robinson had 47 fights, lost one, and then went on a 78-fight winning streak, and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was 87-0 before his first loss.
47 fights. He lost one, then he had 78 fights. Then he had a 78-fight winning streak.
Yeah, but you even
Can you
more,
think he
even,
had 47, lost one, then 78 winning streak?
But even more, even more
like
modern than that.
Knockouts.
Look at Julio Cesar Chavez.
Woo!
He was 84-0, right?
89, 90 and 0 before he lost.
89-0. Wow. So it's
Don't
not,
tell me about you the greatest fighter with 50-0, nigga. You're great, no doubt about it. 50-0. Chavez had 90.
Tyson added that having 3 champions is beneficial because it ensures that everyone involved in a fight gets paid and makes money, highlighting that this is what the business of boxing revolves around: money. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.